CTV News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carlyle Fiset. We are broadcasting tonight in London and Windsor with breaking news from Washington and an apparent breakthrough in Canada-U.S. trade negotiations. President Donald Trump, just in the last hour, has announced a deadline extension for his 50% tariffs, indicating a deal has been reached. He made the announcement on social media hours after speaking with Prime Minister Mark Carney over the phone. If the deal Trump alluded to tonight is not confirmed, the tariffs would come into effect in 3 days. No details have been made public about what was discussed between Carney and President Trump today. Complete coverage of this breaking news is on our website right now, ctvnews.ca. A London mayoral candidate is calling out the city clerk for taking 3.5 months to notify her about a minor omission on her nomination form. As Daryl Newcomb reports, it was an oversight that could have jeopardized her whole campaign.
When the nomination period for the upcoming municipal election began May 1st, Kirsten Crows was the first to file paperwork to run for mayor. So 3.5 months later, Crows was shocked to receive an urgent email from the elections office that her candidacy was at risk.
Yesterday afternoon at about 4:37, I think is the timestamp, I got a message that said urgent.
The email warned, to have your nomination certified and your name appear on the ballot, you must attend the elections office to update your Form 1 no later than 2 p.m. Friday. It turns out Crows hadn't filled in one line on her nomination papers, and she needed to write City of London in the space. There are, in fact, 2 steps to getting a candidate's name on the ballot. First, the candidate has to come here to City Hall prior to Friday at 2 p.m. to file their nomination paperwork. Then the city clerk has until Monday at 4 p.m. to certify the nomination. The city clerk declined CTV's request for an interview, so it remains unclear why Michael Schultes took 109 days to review Crow's paperwork to certify her campaign. Crows canceled scheduled campaign events on Tuesday morning to immediately resolve the problem.
I was just really fortunate that I wasn't at AMO in Ottawa, where I would normally have been, because I don't think I would have been able to come all the way back from Ottawa to meet that deadline in 3 days. The clerk's statement simply cites a clause in the Municipal Act requiring the certification process and adds, during this review, there could be issues encountered with identification or typographical errors on forms, and candidates are contacted in advance of the close of nominations to resolve issues. This is best practice to ensure compliance with the Act. But whether waiting until the last week to certify candidates is best practice, why staff didn't notice the omission back on May 1st, and if Crows is the only candidate to face a short deadline, remains unknown. So I'm just wondering what the review period was. I'd love to know if any other candidates had also got emails like this. Crows is one of 10 people registered as candidates for Mayor of London. The complete list is on the City of London website. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Union leaders say they're getting closer to resolving a labor dispute for striking Community Living London workers. They've been on the picket lines for more than 3 months, now resorting to mediation to get a deal done. With the latest, here's Jerry Dewan.
Striking OPSU 166 members left picket locations throughout the city to converge in front of the Ramada Inn at Wellington and Exeter Road. It's where a number of developmentally disabled people have been housed during the job action. The OPSU members insist their strike is primarily about those individuals.
These are the most vulnerable people in Ontario, and they need our government to do better.
The picket line had a more upbeat tone, with this being the first day private mediator Jerry Lee has become involved in the negotiations. If both sides approve, Lee could take on the role of conciliator, allowing him to put in place a binding agreement. But support worker Tamara Duggan worries the systemic shortcomings of community living services still won't be addressed once a deal is reached.
I think that we all strive to do the best we can with the little resources that we have, but this time was really about making sure that people are aware that those resources are dwindling.
Over the lunch hour, striking Community Living London members gathered at the OPSU headquarters on Dearness Drive. They were here for a barbecue and a solidarity rally.
What do we want? Fair wages! When do we want it? Now!
Local 166 President Lisa Fuster says recent contracts have seen the almost 660 members receive minimal pay increases.
We can demonstrate year after year we've taken zeros or 0.5s, nothing over 1% for sure.
She says a structure where they negotiate with Community Living London leadership and the actual funder is the Ontario government makes having productive talks a challenge. She also points to the ongoing affordability issues facing those with developmental disabilities, with many ending up on the streets.
This is not just about wages, this is about the support and the crisis that this sector's in.
Joining in this rally were staff from Ingersoll Support Services. The OPSU 172 members were locked out on May 23rd. Like the 166 members, they're still trying to get the 6.5% pay bump other public sector workers received after the Ford government's bill freezing public sector wages was overturned by the courts.
I don't feel like we should have to fight this hard for something that was owed to us and taken from us.
The 172 negotiating team will be meeting with the arbitrator on Wednesday. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
A southwestern Ontario woman says she lost tens of thousands of dollars to a pool contractor. A court actually ordered the money be repaid to her, but as Sanjay Maru reports, she's still waiting.
This is our backyard. This is a nice patch of green grass, which should have been a big hole in the ground with blue water in it.
But that pool never materialized. The man she and her husband hired, Thomas Dowling, later pleaded guilty to fraud and in January 2025 was ordered to pay restitution forthwith.
We have not received any restitution from Tom Dowling.
A restitution order shows Di Gregorio is owed roughly $55,000. As CTV News previously reported, the former contractor is now disabled due to a partial foot amputation and circulatory issues in his legs. At sentencing, Dowling's lawyer said his client had fallen into a, quote, rob Peter to pay Paul situation. Proceeds from the sale of a home were used to compensate one of the victims, but he was not in a position to pay the remaining victims. The court also heard Dowling had moved to New Brunswick with directives established so he could carry out the conditions of his sentence there. But Di Gregorio says she left court expecting to finally recover her losses.
We understood that the monies would be coming to us to be paid forthwith.
Di Gregorio has since been trying to figure out what happens when an order to pay does not result in payment. Lawyer Dan Scott says there's no automatic enforcement.
Unfortunately, the standalone restitution order doesn't have its own collection mechanism.
But Scott says victims have options. The restitution order can be registered as a civil judgment, allowing for wage garnishment, property seizure, even the forced sale of land. A debtor can also be ordered to appear for an examination, and failure to show can escalate matters.
If they compel him to come for a debtor's exam and that's a no-show, they can issue a warrant for the person's arrest.
Why are we having to lose sleep over this? This is a lot of money. $55,000 is a lot of money to lose.
For Di Gregorio, the money is only part of what she lost. She says the experience has left her second-guessing who she can trust.
It's a horrible way to live.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
There are concerns in Windsor over a lack of parking near the Gordie Howe Bridge's multi-use path. With more on that, here's Bob Belichico.
Parking near the Gordie Howe International Bridge has been a challenge for some visitors. The driver of this vehicle wondering if they are allowed to park in the lot directly across the street from the entrance to the multi-use path.
We decided to park here just to see whether it is possible. It looks like it's possible for now. We don't know about it in the future.
There are no signs, so for out-of-town visitors, the risk is worth the reward.
It's beautiful. Walking up there, coming down, it was amazing.
The bridge website encourages people to plan ahead. In Windsor, they suggest parking at Malden Park, almost 4 kilometers away.
And they're about an hour and a half walk away. Well, you can't expect people to want to walk all the way from there and then also walk about 5 kilometers total if you go both ways back.
Maria Kulas Rosatani drove in from Harrow, parked at Malden, and got lost with her friend.
And we wasted about 3.5 hours, but we got a lot of catching up done in the meantime. So definitely do your research prior to leaving to make sure you're where you think you are and that you prepare and allow for enough time.
This couple parked at Black Oak Park and walked 17 minutes to the entrance.
Had I
I known that there was this parking lot right across from the entranceway, I would have parked here, but there's no signage. You don't know where to park. And how I found the other one was just like Facebooking.
The property is not a designated bridge parking lot, but many are using it.
If you're not doing anything, you want to hang around for a couple hours and don't let them tow me.
Now, the city of Windsor owns property near the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Media used it as a parking lot a few weeks ago for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Now, I just did the walk from here to the entrance of the multi-use trail, and it took me 5.5 minutes.
One catch, though, the city has put up a few use at your own risk signs. Now, there is street parking on the Detroit side and a lot at Clark Park, which is a 7 to 9 minute walk.
I feel there's a need that we need an official parking lot for people to be able to be encouraged to walk and bike across this wonderful bridge.
So I hope they do it in the future.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Residents near Port Elgin are coming forward demanding their local councillors block a potential energy storage project. As Scott Miller reports, they're hoping municipal leaders follow the same decision made in Huron County just last week.
To meet Ontario's growing desire for more energy, 29 acres of farmland near Port Elgin could soon become home to one of Ontario's largest battery storage projects.
I am worried that it's going to happen, truly. This is where my family grew up.
Neon Canada would like to build an energy storage complex along a hydro corridor just south of Port Elgin. It would encompass 344 lithium iron phosphate batteries and 89 transformers to take power off the grid at times of low energy demand and return it to the grid when energy demand is high.
This is not the place for it. There's all kinds of places that this thing can be located. Away from people, away from livestock, away from wildlife.
The loss of farmland concerns others.
Every day in Ontario, 320 acres of farmland is lost to development. My husband and I are farmers, and we've farmed this land with our children, and I can't imagine not being able to farm it anymore and pass it on to future generations.
Schwa says she's concerned about what would happen if the batteries caught fire.
They claim that that will never happen. I would like to see the guarantees to prove that that is not going to happen in a 20-year span.
If a fire did occur and it did get into the other units, you can't put these things out. You got to let them burn out.
Neon initially planned to build the battery storage complex near Tara, but moved their preferred site to Saugeen Shores following consultation with the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, who would be 50% partners in the proposed project, which still does require municipal approval in order to move forward.
I got the feeling that they're really, really trying with everything they have to push this through, and I hope I'm wrong and this doesn't happen.
I cannot believe the number of people that have stopped in here with concerns.
If they do get municipal approval, construction on the Neon battery project could begin as early as next year and be completed by 2028. Near Port Elgin, Scott Miller, CTV News.
As many as 16,000 students in Grey County could be without a ride to school when classes get back underway next month. With more on the unresolved dispute with bus drivers and the provincial government's role, here's Rob Cooper.
Thousands of young students in Grey Bruce may not have a school bus available to get them to and from school come September, and parents are fearing the worst.
It makes it harder for everybody. Like finding childcare and getting him to school on time and everything like that, it's a pain.
You're hoping for the best.
Absolutely.
The 6 school bus companies that transport students to and from schools in the region are without a contract with the province, and that could force parents to find their own way to get their young ones to class.
We're calling on the province to get back to the negotiating table.
The executive director of School Bus Ontario says the province originally offered a 0% pay increase for 1 year. That was followed by a second offer that was turned down.
The offer was a take it or leave it offer. The operators felt it didn't cover their costs, so here we are at an impasse.
An impasse with just weeks to go before school resumes. School Bus Ontario says operating costs have gone up by 71% and they need a substantial pay increase to cover those expenses. It says if a new contract is not reached by Friday, buses will not be on the road for the first day of school. The previous contract expired in June.
It's a stress for a lot of parents for sure. I don't know how
people will manage to get their kids to school if they don't get it sorted out before school starts.
The Blue Water District School Board says in a statement that it remains hopeful it will reach a fair agreement with school bus operators. Talks are ongoing between all parties and have continued this week, and we believe there is a path to secure reliable transportation for this school year at the negotiating table. It goes on to say it sent out notice yesterday because it wanted to be transparent with families about the risk that bus service may not be available for all students at the start of the school year. We recognize and understand the challenges this presents.
This is going to be substantial for families having to drive to and from school every day, maybe twice a day, find carpools. All of these things are going to be disrupted, not to mention field trips and sports and whatnot.
So about 16,000 students on some 308 bus routes could be affected if a deal isn't reached by the first day of school. Parents are being encouraged to make alternate plans just in case. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Meaford.
Provincial government officials say there will be no more campsites removed from Pinery Provincial Park. A local camping advocate had spearheaded a campaign after learning 91 campsites had been removed from the park in the spring. A 45-day period allowing for public feedback on park management ended yesterday. In a statement, Ontario Parks officials say only 52 sites were removed last year from an ecologically sensitive area. They also say no further campsite reductions are planned, and work is underway to relocate a portion of the impacted sites to other development zones within the park. Later on CTV News, an overseas adventure for a southwestern Ontario dragon boat team, the cancer survivors paddling for each other. As trade talks appeared to stall today, North American stock markets dropped before news of tonight's potential deal. In Toronto, the TSX fell 300 points. In New York, the Dow is down 116. The Nasdaq lost 355. The Canadian dollar is down 0.12 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold lost $53 an ounce. Oil gained 32 cents a barrel. A landmark social media case is underway in California, which could have substantial implications for what users see and do online. Dozens of American states are suing Meta, accusing company officials of harming young people. With more on what's at stake and how the lawsuit could affect regulations in this country, here's Alex Carpa.
What were you talking about?
Jocelyn Lalonde has 3 kids, including 11-year-old Josephine. She doesn't let any of them use social media, saying she's concerned about the impacts it has on young people.
Social media in our home is not an option, but I think it's important, of course, to have media literacy and to talk about these things, so we don't shy away from the conversations.
Her concerns echo the questions now being asked at the heart of the Meta trial in the United States. A bipartisan group of 29 U.S. states is suing Meta, accusing the company over claims Instagram and Facebook were designed in ways that harmed young users' mental health.
These are some pretty serious claims. Meta tried every sort of legal theory that it could to get the case dismissed before trial, and those were basically unavailing. So there's a great deal of peril for Meta.
Meta is expected to tell the jury that the company made efforts to keep kids safe online. Experts say this is the biggest legal test on social media's effects on young users.
This is the reckoning that opponents of social media have been waiting for years.
At the beginning of June, Ottawa introduced the Safe Social Media Act, which proposes a 16-year-old minimum age requirement for social media use. Manitoba was the first province to announce a possible full ban in April. Tech analyst Carmi Levy says the trial could reshape the entire social media landscape.
How the legal processes in cases that are currently in play in Canada will play out will largely depend on the precedent that's set in this American case.
Meta co-founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram chief Adam Mosseri are expected to testify at a trial that is scheduled to last for 6 weeks. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We are in the midst of increasing activity coming from the west, and this flow of energy could bring some showers, maybe along this cold front, potential of instigating some thunderstorm activity through midnight perhaps even towards the rush hour tomorrow morning. Wednesday's not a complete loss. I think the afternoon and early evening will improve. I'll break down whether or not you'll need extra layers for the end of the week as cooler temperatures are likely. It's a possibility. The forecast coming after this.
Welcome back as we say good evening to meteorologist Gary Archibald. Gary, how are we looking weather-wise as we head into the midweek here?
Carlyle, I think we'll see a cooling trend, temperatures falling off just a bit. We expect that towards the latter stage of the month of August, and we could still see some rain through the overnight between midnight and, say, 4 a.m., possible showers and developing thunderstorms along a boundary moving through. Today was a pleasant enough day, sunny, bright, clear through the morning. Increasing cloudiness through the midday and afternoon, reaching a high of 27, a couple of degrees above our seasonal average at this time of the year, 25. We'll take it. But you can see an expansive cold front. In fact, there's essentially two fronts sweeping through the lower Great Lakes at the same time. The first, relatively weak. The second is more defined and stronger, hence the showers and thunderstorms moving through early, pre-dawn. 4, maybe 5 a.m. we'll see the worst of it across southern Ontario. And the rainfall tallies, as you can see, the spread and the timing, it's significant. Sarnia, Goderich, Grand Bend could be in the midst of the worst, but I think Sarnia and the north shores of Lake St. Clair probably the worst of it. And thunderstorms locally could certainly put down even more rain than the expected 30 mils in Sarnia, and that would be a moderate event. The event obviously passes. We'll see increasing sunshine and fair weather cloud towards the afternoon. We'll reach a high, a cool 23 degrees today, 2 degrees above seasonal. Tomorrow, 2 degrees below seasonal. And then we'll see some sunshine. Nice way to end the work week for most. Thursday into Friday, 26, then 27. Back to more seasonal values. Sunny. Don't forget your sunblock, of course, and sunglasses. The UV index is high for the next couple of days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we are in the low 20s, and it's cloudy and potentially wet, especially for Saturday into Sunday morning. The temperatures cool off for tomorrow. Early morning showers, thunderstorms potentially across the Midwestern tier. Then a sunny break Thursday into a fair weather Friday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, and then it's low 20s and upper teens. Rainy for the weekend and cool below seasonal by a few degrees as we head towards Monday and Tuesday of next week. That is a look at your weather story.
Thanks very much, Gary. A former community home in Lucan that closed suddenly last year has reopened. It's now under private ownership and has a new mission. With more on that, here's Rita Ismail.
This may look like a new retirement home, but inside, people from their 20s to seniors in their 90s will soon call the same place home.
It's an intergenerational model of home for people who have an intellectual disability, developmental disability, autism, any type of neurodiversity, also seniors retirement and dementia care. All of that in the one home.
The building is not new to the community. It was formerly home to Jake's House, a residence for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities that closed abruptly last year. Highview later assumed control of the property and has transformed it into an intergenerational home with 53 suites.
It's really going to create a space where people of different ages and abilities and backgrounds can come together and be at home and share time and meals and experiences, and I think it's going to be lovely.
Highview says support will be tailored to each resident rather than expecting everyone to follow the same routine.
What you might need for support for your independence is different than what I might need for my support. And so we are going to work with every single person and co-design what support or what care looks like for them.
Highview says it believes this is the first private intergenerational home of its kind in Canada. The model was shaped in part by families of adults with developmental disabilities who want their children to have a home of their own with friends, independence, and the right level of support. And Highview hopes the concept can eventually grow beyond Lucan.
As the future unfolds, we'll be able to create villages, not just here in Lucan, but in other communities where similar populations can come together to share in each other's lives, which is the important thing.
Residents are expected to move into Highview homes next month. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, breast cancer survivors representing Southwestern Ontario overseas at a global dragon boat festival in France. With more on their experience, here's Travis Fortnum.
Stroke after stroke, the paddles hit the water in sync. For more than 2 decades, the Wonder Broads have moved forward the same way, building community for breast cancer survivors across Windsor, Essex.
Joining this group 5 years ago has been so awesome. Never felt so strong in my life, and one of the things that I wanted to do was show my granddaughters that I was okay after breast cancer, and I've never been stronger.
Now they are taking that strength across the Atlantic.
Front half, paddles up, take it away.
The team is heading to France for the IBCPC Participatory Dragon Boat Festival.
Je suis très excitée d'aller en France.
A global gathering of breast cancer survivors and paddlers.
This team has worked really, really hard this summer training, and it's a sport. And I've seen women who have never been in sport before become these amazing athletes that we have here today. So this message will be brought from Windsor, Essex County to France.
3, 2, 1, strokers!
Formed in 2003, the Wonder Broads are still welcoming new survivors aboard.
Every new girl that we come join our group, we are just like, we take them right in. It's like, yes, you can do this. Let's go. And we don't even have to talk about it because we just all know what everybody feels.
I'm one of the newest members of the Wonder Broad team, not new to cancer, but new to the boat. And it is an incredible honor to be part of this team and to compete not only with this team, but for Canada.
The festival expecting 4,500 participants overall, including 551 supporters from 25 countries.
Not only are we all connected as a sisterhood of breast cancer survivors, but we're lifting each other up.
The Wonder Broads will race in France, August 28th and 29th. Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.